Anyways, yeah, this game finally finally beat the main thing. It doesn't want to end, of course. It's like no. It feels this post game stuff feels like the game is like no. Wait. I had more. I had more. Hold on. And it's just like scrambling to find things and like yeah. I get villains. And it just pulls out like it pulls out an image like it pulls out two sheets of paper and they have pictures of the rusted sword and the rusted shield, and then the game just like grabs a pencil and hastily draws over them to draw people in the shape of the sword, like with their heads in the shape of the sword and the shield, and says, "Yeah. I came up with yeah, here two more characters," and then it just says like, "Yes, these are." It just thinks really hard for names for, and then like, yeah, this one is sword word, yes, and this one is shieldbird, yeah, and these are the new villains, yes, and now you're gonna fight them, and then I'm like, wait, I didn't get to catch the legendary in the main story. And the game is like, right, yeah, the legendary. We forgot about that amongst all the bullshit. And like, I brought a legendary out of nowhere, right? But no, it's fine. That was the plan all along. Yes, you were supposed to catch him first, and then you get the legendary that is actually on the box, on the front of the box. You get it in the post game. Yeah, yeah, the post game. Yeah. And like, okay, can I get him now? No. Remember, we have these two new characters. We have a lot of story. Let me tell my story, okay? I'm gonna show you something new, something called Dynamax raids. Yes, new concept. And I'm like, well, I've been doing them in the wild area with friends. They're like, no. Yeah, this is the first time you see them. New concept. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do that. You get my idea. You get my point. I'm not salty, okay? I'm not salty. I'm just saying this game is pacing is weird. Chip says delete system 32 to make your computer run faster. Starbucks says like someone else said earlier, this game is very backloaded. Again, it works. It's a Pokemon game, but like yeah. Starbucks says, you know, when this game was announced, I theorized that the enemy team would be trying to control the game mascots, which at the time I believed to be one Pokemon with two different forms. Hoot says, I love that little story. Starbucks says, I imagine them being evil industrialists or something. Yeah, again, it's like, I feel like Zacian and Samacenta would have worked best if they were one Pokemon with two different forms. Like, the one Pokemon. And what if in each game the story varied and like one is the reality where the Pokemon took on a more offensive approach, and that would be Zacian, and the world would have been completely different. And then another timeline where it took a defensive approach to the Darkest Day, and that would have been the world for Zamazenta, and the entirety of Galar would be changed for it. Like I'm not sure. Like people would be like slightly more like would be slightly more not offensive, but like they would have a more like bold approach to things because like that's the tradition. The Pokemon was took an offensive approach to the Darkest Day, so everybody's just like on their toes, ready to battle, ready like for things. Meanwhile, in the Zamazenta um, timeline, they would be more like on guard, like on guard for things, like defensive. Like, no, we have to be prepared for this. We have to be ready for this. Are you gonna attack me? Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for this. Rudy says, I've seen porn with better plots. And Strabeck says, so either fighting it directly or protecting Galar from it? Yeah, exactly. Hoot says, nah, that's too much writing and requires a longer development time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you know what? You know what? Okay, here's my take on it. If they had done something like that, if they had actually split the story to be just different enough, I would have bought both. Me, like I would have bought both games. Cause like, oh shit, like oh, one was like both different approaches, different enough games. But no, no. What's the biggest difference they could do? Different gyms. Yeah, just different gyms. Slightly different history. Rudy says you're speaking straight facts, and Hood says, "Yeah, definitely. I have ideas. I have ideas for what this game could have been, but I just the more I saw from it, I was just disappointed. And at some point, I just decided to stop following like some people that like they get something new about the games and they just like look into it. They obsessively check trailers and stuff, and I just tuned out. I just completely tuned out from Gen 8. I just decided it was not worth my time. And I mean, from the very start, I felt something was off, but I said, okay, it's gonna get better. Probably they're gonna bring in things. They're gonna bring in like new things. They're gonna make sure everything works. And then the cuts happened, and I was just decidedly salty, of course. I held on hope though. I said, okay, maybe, maybe it's not too bad. Maybe there will be my Pokemon will be in the game. The game released. Ember was not there. Actually, okay, I have a list. I'm gonna show you something important. Sorry if I'm rambling a little bit, but it's just this is the final impressions section of the game of the stream. So I'm trying to explain everything with. I'm trying to explain my feelings toward this game carefully and just yeah. I want to find it. I want to find this image. Where is this image that I made? Sorry. I'm trying to locate it. Oh man, I can't find it. Cause okay, hold on a bit. Okay, this is how Pokemon Sword and Shield looked when the game released. This was my list of my favorite Pokemon of each type before Gen 8, like all the way up to Gen 7. And can you imagine how I felt when I saw this? Like honestly, can you imagine how I felt? It was just utterly disappointing. Strybeck says, "Yeah, we have a multiverse now. Something cool should be done with it." Hmm? Rudy says, "Hard to do big differences when the game is being built in a year." It didn't have to be that way, but again, they got greedy. They got greedy, and they took the Madden approach. They took the sports game approach. They decided to go fuck it. Yearly delivery. We need to get Pokemon out there. We need to move, move, move. We need to keep up with the anime. And then the anime goes and it does its own thing. Chip says they need to develop the game, then take a carving knife to cut out chunks to sell as DLC. I don't even think the game was completed and then cut out for DLC. It wasn't. It was incomplete. The game was incomplete. They had to push it out. The DLC was an excuse to say, yeah, there will be more. But no. No, not really. I still haven't seen the DLC, so I'm gonna reserve my criticism for it to whether it fixes stuff or it's just not enough. But from what I've seen, I haven't seen much from it, but from what I've seen, I feel like it's not gonna be enough to change my opinion. Again, some of these Pokemon were added back into the game, but too little, too late. Hood says Rick Ramble is always best Ramble. I'm trying not to be too like I'm trying to be objective here. I'm not saying I wanted my Pokemon, I wanted this. Why didn't we have this? I'm seeing what I see. Tribex says, oof, only three? Yeah, only three. Pangoris, Contank, and Bertic. The only three Pokemon of mine that could be found in the base version. Hood says destroyed. Yeah. Again, I'm sorry that Pokemon went this direction. I'm sorry that Gen 8 had to be so this. But people love it. I can't argue against that. People love it. People are like, well, I have to say maybe the consolidation of the console, home console and handheld markets into one helped greatly with the adoption of Gen 8 of Pokemon. But again, people were hype. Pokemon has grown a lot. It has only gotten more popular every time. And now that it's not tethered to a small handheld console that a lot of people just don't want to get invested in, people just went out and bought it. Horus says, I can tell you a bit about the DLC. No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until it's time to play the DLC. Which, if my estimations are correct, the DLC I'll probably be playing in mid-February. So, not next week, but then the week after. Because honestly, the game that I got now to replace Sword next Monday, or this Monday, more like, is not that long. I'm probably not gonna play a lot of it. But yeah, this game has no Embor, and that's after finishing the game, I can say it's not a big deal. But everybody has their favorites. Everybody has a favorite Pokemon. Mine is not in this game, so I'm salty about it. It doesn't bring the game down, but I am salty about it. The fact that they could not give starters, the Pokemon that you usually get the most attached to in your adventures, priority before making the cuts, just speaks a lot about what the hell they were doing. Hood says, oh, was that the package? Was what that? Um, um, I wasn't gonna speak about the package yet, because I didn't want to rob Sword of its thunder. So, if you already know, it's fine. But I want to talk about it on its own later. In any case, I think that's pretty much it. I'm sorry for having complained about this game. I'm sorry for having torn into it. I contained myself. I said I was not gonna spend the entire game bitching about it. I did mention a few things, a few complaints that he had. But I finished the main thing, and I'll be back on Friday, where I will be continuing with this. The first part of the stream is gonna be me completing this up to, I guess, the culmination of this side story, and then we're gonna move into the phase where I'm gonna open the stream. Well, I'm gonna open the voice chat for everybody to just jump in. So just be ready when I give the signal, and just jump into voice chat, and we can have a nice fun time doing things. Hood says that was the defining factor for Gen 8, the game being okay, but people having personal gripes with it. Hmm? Hood says, I see. Rudy says, you're sorry you don't like the game? I'm sorry because people like the game, and I don't want to seem like the party pooper, like, you know how Snow is, and like, okay, there's people. I mean, I'm gonna say Snow because obviously you could see Snow is defensive about Gen 8, but there's other people that I know. And if I say a bad thing about these games, they will also get defensive on their own way. And can you guess why I had to shut down any any conversation about Gen 8 on my streams? I mean, not my well, yes, on my streams, but mainly on my Discord server because it generated just so much shit. People on one side, people on another side, just arguing endlessly, just each side just giving excuses onto why, and I just hate seeing that kind of thing. I mean, I understand dialogue leads to agreement, but these people, nobody seemed to want to move from their spot. And I said, this is pointless. I don't want this. I don't want this here. So I just had to ban any talk of Sword and Shield on my server because it's just pointless. And some people will just never agree to anything. I mean, I'm on the side of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Gen 8 is not great. And so many good things could have been done. So many good things were done with the games. There's a lot of quality of life improvements, but it's marred by an incomplete Pokédex, a very linear progression thing, a lackluster story, good music. The graphics are okay, but again, there's a lot of recycling when it comes to animations and trainers and Pokemon alike. Uh, I loved the rival team, but again, it was not much of a rival team, but like just an arbitrary hedge at points in the story where they were like, "No, you can't go through here." Like, I get it. It's Pokemon. It's supposed to be simple. It's supposed to be easy. People are supposed to be able to grab it. I'm not expecting a complete like revision, complete 180 for the formula. That's what Black and White did. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna keep praising Gen 5. Gen 5 did a lot for Pokemon that I really appreciate. But it just things things just took a weird turn somewhere, and I don't even know anymore. Horus says my thoughts on one thing they did do: remove moves and they become unusable in a Pokemon transfer to Sword and Shield. And while some of these moves weren't used much, it still feels bad knowing they flat out removed them. No, I mean I get it. Mm, but again, that's what I'm saying. They cut content. Why did they cut content? Were they trying to streamline the meta? I don't follow I don't follow it much, but honestly, I don't think the meta has changed. It just switched. Things were removed, people went for the next alternatives, and the game is just about the same. Who says I like Gen 8, but it's hella flawed. Sorry. Horus says, sorry, I shouldn't have spoken. No, you're fine. You're fine again. People can like the games. I have no. I'm not gonna think less of you for liking Sword and Shield. It's just. I played it. I verified that my complaints were true. I learned that a few things of the game are good. And I liked. And the Gym Leader song is an absolute fucking banger, and I can't get it out of my head, but I keep looking at the things that they didn't do well, and it's just there. Shrebeck says it's fitting that the games are called Sword and Shield, people both attacking them and defending them. Yeah, funny how that works. Rudy says, you're right. Hood says it's kind of difficult not to compare games across their own franchise, specifically considering how good Black and White were. Shrebeck says it was so they could focus on the high quality animations they didn't give us. Even with that sort of evidence, even if you provide evidence that yes, they recycled animations, people won't listen. I don't know who they are defending or what. This was not about crunch. We were not asking them to force developers to just work until the game was to work endlessly until the game was done. They were supposed to delay the games and actually not announce the games until they were ready. So what if we had like 2 or 3 years without Pokemon? It wasn't like the franchise was gonna die. People have waited longer for games. How long did people wait for freaking Breath of the Wild? Zelda did not die just because Breath of the Wild took like 4 more years to develop. Patience, for fuck's sake. Be patient. There's so many games out there. There's a crap load of games already there. And you want more? Play the things that you have not played. Don't ask for new games. There's so many games out there. Play those. I mean, some of them are even cheaper than the $70 stuff that is coming out right now. FOMO, I know, all that, but just don't be greedy. Hood says, oh well, Diamond Pearl remix, here we go. Hood says 3 years without a Pokemon mainline game would be heaven. Rudy says longest wait for Metroid 4. Shrebeck says New Horizons was delayed and fans praised Nintendo for it. And even then, Animal Crossing New Horizons was not a full game. But the backlash is a lot minor because the game works. And the game builds on the past. Maybe it has less stuff. It has been released like at a freaking drip feed pace. But it's Animal Crossing. I gotta say I don't think the comparison is fair. It's Animal Crossing. It's not the same. The scope of Animal Crossing is huge. Do not underestimate that. But they are completely different games. And yeah, my take is Pokemon would have benefited from longer development and just ignoring the fans. Anyways, despite all that, I'm happy. I'm happy today. And yeah, I'm glad This is over. I mean, I'm gonna go back, but so Pokemon Sword will be back on Friday, where I'll be finishing that story and I'll be playing with you guys. And if you want to join the voice chat, that's gonna be open. If we don't have too many people in the voice chat, hell, I'm just gonna let anybody jump in, um, just for fun. I just want to have a nice time with you. Chip says New Horizons was still a solid entry in on if itself. It did a bunch of things different, and the content has been completely free. Yeah, no paid DLC for Animal Crossing. That's that's commendable, but again, I mean they have been reaping the rewards in Pocket Camp, but we're not gonna talk about that. Rudy says Animal Crossing Online better than Pokemon Online, and even then you have nothing to do in Animal Crossing Online. Horace says, well, honestly, it feels more like they are trying to get casuals to become competitive since Gen 6. Perhaps it's with how much they making competitively built Pokemon far more accessible. Chip says, speaking of, you gotta drop by Island. Okay. Rudy says, buying clothes in Pokemon better than buying clothes in Animal Crossing. Is it really? I don't think so. I have way more control over my outfits in Animal Crossing than in Pokemon, but again, different games. Hood says, "Do I happy Weasel?" Yeah, I'm happy. I'm just gonna let this rest. I'm too salty. I'm sorry, I didn't want to get salty, but I've been just keeping this in for so long, and I felt like I played the game, I beat the game. It was time to let it out. Chip says Animal Crossing has much better fashion options. Hmm? I had to wait until the last city of the game to get the leather jacket. Honestly. And guess what? I finished the game, no boots. But again, that's just a comedic nitpick. No boots, 0 out of 10. Rudy says I just meant the process of buying them. Oh, it's because there's not many things here, and in Animal Crossing clothing are items. Here they are just switches. You have the item or you don't have it. Hood says the game ends with an awful note. I understand. Yeah, again, don't if believe me, if I completely despise the game, I would not be playing it on Friday. But I see value in it. I want to see it to an end. I want to catch the fucking dog, and I want to see if I can get some enjoyment from playing with friends on voice chat.